It's the opening night and they're lighting the lights. The orchestra is tuning to make sure they sound right. It's time to start our show tonight.
Welcome, I'm Stephanie Greer and this is Arts Alive Theatre. We're at the Everyman and Playhouse season launch and we managed to grab a word with Artistic Director Gemma Bodnet and Associate Director Nick Bagnall.
Well, I suppose every season you're trying to get a really mixed programme of work where our audiences can get a taste of all sorts of different types of theatre, and so that's sort of where you begin. And this season we've got, a big Greek classic by Simon Armitage, which, is really exciting. So we're going from ancient Greece, and then we've got some Tennessee Williams, which is mid-20th century, but and then through to a thriller horror at the Playhouse and a panto at the Everyman, and in between all of that, everything in between. The choice of work, I think, comes. We're looking either for our visiting work or even for our in-house work for excitement, difference, really impactful theatre that makes you think about yourself, the world you live in, but also actually about theatre and how it can do things differently, because I really feel we're living at a very exciting time in theatrical history where directors and writers are saying, it's the 3-hour-long play with an interval well acted is a very beautiful thing, but there's also other ways of coming at theatre that involve music or video or splicing stories, and I'm finding that our audiences are really loving some of that, and I very much want Liverpool to be part of that. I don't want it to be a dusty regional theatre where we're still doing things the way they used to be done in 1954. So when I'm choosing things, it's what they are, but also how they're going to be done and how they're going to excite our audiences. Really.
The Odyssey Missing Presumed Dead. That's the official title. And there is a reason I say that, is because we've done a very contemporary version of Homer's poem. This time last year I directed a production of The Last Days of Troy, which was a Simon Armitage dramatisation of the Iliad. So Simon and I have worked together quite a lot. We're kind of desperate to tell the sequel of that story and get Odysseus home. So we're doing that. We've very much made a really kind of dynamic contemporary version of it, but we also straddle the classical world as well. So his journey back through Europe is in the classical world, all written in verse, beautiful verse, and you get to meet all those incredible creatures like the Cyclops, Circe, lotus flowers, and it's a really big theatrical event actually, big ensemble, 11 actors playing 650 characters or something, and music and song and a really kind of pertinent contemporary resonance actually. It's very much, we were very clear about wanting to do it in election year, and we've made quite a big, bold political statement with it, so we're really proud of it, and it reads beautifully, so yeah, really excited.
Yeah. And you've got the amazing Simon Armitage doing the adaptation.
Yeah, he's all right. I mean, he's
had a go.
He's absolutely. Yeah, no, it's amazing. And as I say, I've known Simon a long time, and I've worked with him as an actor. I did his first play actually as an actor, and then I've directed a few things for him. So yeah, and he's incredible. And what he's done is he's kind of moved away from the kind of insular world of poetry. And he's really embraced this kind of theatricality of playwriting, and he's very much written it for this space as well, even though it tours. He's really got this kind of thrust, intimate, stroke, epic space in mind when he's writing it. So yeah, couldn't be happier, and he is at the top of his game. So all good.
And it's going to end up at the Globe, isn't it?
Yeah, this is a bit of a mad one really, because we do. It's not the main space of the Globe. Well, not the main space, wrong words. But it's the Sam Wanamaker Playhouse. So it's the indoor candlelit space.
Oh, nice.
But if so there'll be a lot of stripping away from the kind of big production that I'm going to do here. But if there's any writer in the country whose words can resonate in a little space like that, then it's him really.
Yeah.
So definitely. No, really excited.
Brilliant. And you did A Midsummer Night's Dream obviously last season.
I did.
Sticking with the classics.
Yeah.
Would you say that was becoming your trademark, or is your trademark?
Nah. Just do what they tell me to. No, I'm just interested in really great big stories with big casts actually. But as I say, this is very contemporary, which was a big decision we made. So no, that feels like it's time to do something quite contemporary. And of course, the dream wasn't a kind of classic telling of the dream.
No, of course.
It was a bonkers mad thing.
Yeah, dark.
There you go. Thank you. A dark, bonkers mad thing. So yeah, no, it's big stories in the told in a very simple way, I think.
And obviously there's lots of stuff going on at the Everyman Playhouse this season. And what would be some of your highlights?
Really looking forward to Glass Menagerie, one of my favourite plays. Headlong is one of my favourite companies. I think they're so exciting, so dynamic. And I think, you know, we have this manifesto which we all stick to here, which is, you know, about risk and joy. And that company really embraced that. God knows what they're going to do with that play, but and we'll get the, you know, original text in a really dynamic setting, I'm sure. That really excites me. Yep, always excite me. I mean, Until They Kick Us Out was one of the most brilliant things I saw last year, so I'm just always intrigued about their development, actually. Yeah, loads, and of course the panto. You can never go wrong with the panto. But, you know, God, I'm plugging all of them now, aren't I? You just asked me for one. But Haunted of Hill House, I'm intrigued by the Christmas show at the Playhouse. And that's a genre which we should be able to embrace. And so, yeah, very exciting.
The Playhouse is always a challenge for us at Christmas because not only are we doing a panto, but every other...
Of course.
So then you think, well, families are being really well served around the region and around the country. What for those grown-ups, or you know, if you've got an office party, or you just, or actually round about January the 1st when you don't particularly want to do a Christmas experience, you know, what are you going to do? And we talked a lot about the sort of things we'd like to do at Christmas, and we thought actually it's quite a good time to be frightened and to do things like that. And we had a massive success with ghost stories, so we know Liverpool likes to be scared. And then this script came our way, which is a great novel, comes from, you know, Shirley Jackson's great novel. And then the 1963 film The Haunting is one of my favourite horror films, and it was such a great writer and creative team. Melly Sills, great director, and having Hammer involved as well, and them giving us their blessing to look at this. It just felt, oh, this is a really interesting ingredient to bring into Merseyside Christmas, you know. So I'm hoping, like The Woman in Black and Ghost Stories, that people will come and get nicely photographed.
After the break, we'll be staying here at the Everyman to find out what's going on at the Young Dar Dar Festival. And we'll also be finding out what's going on at the Unity Theatre next week, so don't go away. Welcome back to Arts Alive Theatre. The Young Dar Dar Festival showcases music, dance and performance from deaf and disabled young people in Merseyside, and we were here at the Everyman Theatre to take a look.
So every 2 years we run an international festival of disability and deaf art. So we have artists, disabled artists or artists living with long-term conditions or illnesses come and perform, when they do a variety of things from acting to singing to comedy, all sorts of things.
So here at the Everyman we're really proud to be partners with Dar Dar, a wonderful company, and to be able to present Young Dar Dar Fest 2015 following the success of last year's first event on in our beautiful theatre. I think it's amazing that we're able to give the opportunity to over 100 young people to be able to perform on the professional Everyman stage, and to make sure that they're having a really wonderful time and that their parents can come and watch them and just be really proud. I think it's just a really exciting event.
It's great. This is our second year doing Young Dar Dar Fest at the Everyman, and we've run Young Dar Dar Fest since 2002, and each year it's been a struggle to find a venue that is suitable for obviously our young people to perform. Obviously since they've had the refurbishment, the Everyman's great because obviously it offers a venue of a professional standard, where obviously we can show the young people they can achieve and work towards performing, and obviously we can fit a number of wheelchair users in, and with no problems. Obviously the Everyman is a great theatre with a good reputation, so for the young people and their families as well, it's really brilliant that they get that experience of performing on this stage.
So it's just the work that I absolutely love more than anything in the world, is working with young people in an arts capacity, and young people with disabilities especially, yeah. it makes me feel it makes me feel everything along the way, like the journey of working with the young people. Like when we start off, I'm scared because I just want them to have the best time ever, and it's the unknown because everything that they do, it comes from them. It's not my ideas, it's theirs. I feel incredibly privileged to be doing the work I do because I just love going to work, and I don't know if a lot of people can say that, but I do. And I'm so proud. I'm so proud of all of them. I work with people who on week one sometimes they can't even stand up and say their own name, like in a name game or something, and by the end of it they are performing on the Everyman stage, and that's just within a few weeks. It's a massive thing. I feel over the moon by the whole thing.
So this show has sold out. Hot off the press, as of yesterday, there are no tickets left. So that means that over 400 people are coming to the theatre, many of whom probably won't have ever been to the theatre before. Following last year's event, there were a lot of parents, carers, support workers who'd come to the theatre and literally didn't even know what the Everyman was, where it was. So I think actually being able to watch their child, their young person, their friend on this stage is just unbelievable. And in terms of aspirational stuff for the young people themselves, having like a backstage dressing room and coming on stage, it's proper being given the professional experience. And I think for us it's just really key that they have like a top quality experience overall.
Yeah, no, we're always open to new young people obviously joining Young Dar Dar. We do call outs when we're starting new projects, so we do different types of projects. So for example, last year we did a film project called Recipe for Scouse, where the young people worked for a year with a filmmaking company to produce their own film, and so we do various projects throughout the year, and obviously Young Dar Dar Festival happens every year. So we advertise, we do call outs through social media or on our website and our e-newsletter, which you can sign up for on our website, or people can also just get in touch with me via the Dar Dar Fest office, and then we just see what their interests are, what they really want to do and achieve, and we just try to then accommodate them where we can. We have a leadership group, so Young Dar Dar is run by a leadership group of young people, so they make all the decisions. They've helped plan this event, so they helped do the call out, choose all the acts for this event. So for next year's Young Dar Dar Fest, so 2016, in about September we'll do like a save the date and just to say look out, and then obviously start of 2016 we'll do a call out for any young people or acts that want to take part in Young Dar Dar Fest next year. But as I say, we have things happening throughout the year, so it's always worth getting in touch and seeing if there's anything that suits you.
Next year we are planned to present Young Dar Dar Fest again on the Everyman stage. That was a part of a 3-year plan. So hopefully this will just lay the foundations for doing this well into the future and growing more partnerships.
It's rumoured that Hitler spent 6 months here in Liverpool, and that's precisely what the play Adolphe in Toxteth deals with. We went along to see the cast and crew to see how they're getting along.
So Bridget, how long have you known my brother?
A few years now. I met him at the Dublin Horse Show. Not long after my family moved to Ireland.
So Ian, you're the writer and producer of Adolphe in Toxteth, that's right, isn't it?
Correct.
Can you tell me just a little bit about the play to start with?
Yeah, it's there's an urban myth which I've explored in great detail about the idea that Adolf Hitler came to stay in Liverpool. Haven't been able to put some dates on that. We're looking at November 1912 till April 1913, so a 6-month period, just over 100 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Great, and is that, because it's not been confirmed, has it, but is that something that you believe to be true?
It is, and I did look into it in great detail. Because we're going so far back in time, it's difficult to prove, but I would say I'm easily 80-20 convinced. Okay. And most of the evidence comes from the fact that we know his brother lived here, his half-brother Adolphe, and that is 100% fact.
Okay.
They lived at 102 Upper Stanhope Street, which is about 200 yards from where we're sitting now. In 1911, they christened their child William Patrick at St Patrick's Church on Park Road, and in the christening register it lists father Alois Hitler, wife Bridget Hitler, née Dowling, originally from Ireland, and they got married, moved to Liverpool, had the baby, christened the baby, and they lived at 102 Upper Stanhope Street, and it lists the father's occupation as waiter and the mother's as housewife. And according to her memoirs, which cover 35 years of her relationship with her brother-in-law Adolf Hitler, there's just a little bit of the book where she says her first met him when he comes to stay in our house in Liverpool. Okay. Now she's not lying about the rest of it. Why would she lie about that? And she doesn't make a big song and dance about it. It's only us who sort of said, wow, but to her it was just a part of this 35-year story.
Then my dad found out and refused to let us see each other again.
How much research have you done?
I read Mein Kampf. It's the most boring book I've ever read. It's so boring. He just waffles on, and it's great when like you see him speaking. You're like, wow, what a figure. Regardless of what you think of him, what a figure, like speaking. But when he writes, it's just waffle, and you're just like, I have to take all this in and believe in it. So research-wise, I mean, the history's helped me more, like the shape of where he's going, and why. And so everything pre-war has been more interesting to me, because obviously once you've got, you know, we've got the British propaganda of him and the truth about him, but also like that's a set image, whereas I need something that gets him there, as I was saying earlier. Like, so yeah, his I'd like to have read something like his old diaries or something. I've seen his old pictures. Not great. They're not great. But like, and that whole thing about architecture and structure and things like that, you know, those metaphysical kind of ways of the way that he expresses himself clearly is there in that work. Yeah. And it shows later like how he wants to shape and mold things, and almost, but not like with the openness of clay, more like something structured like a building or a model. So that was interesting. I read this really interesting book about like the future and if the Nazis had won now, and there's that lovely diagram, isn't there, of the way that, I say lovely, but you know, it's beautiful on paper. Yeah. I'm not a Nazi sympathiser.
We know what you mean.
Yeah, this is why it's hard to play Hitler. You can't talk about him positively because I'm like, but yeah, there's this great little kind of diagram that he did of like what he envisioned Germany to be like, and you can see why he did some of the Jewish ghettos the way he did, because he was actually waiting to clear them out for architects. I mean, there's obviously a lot in that, but he's doing it purely just to get out of the way so he can build what he wants, and that says a lot about him, I think. You know, just.
And have you always been interested in kind of like Hitler and World War II? What made you want to tell this really interesting story?
I used to live in Canning Street round the corner. I lived there for 15 years until very recently, and there was a German church on the corner of Canning Street and Bedford Street South, and I used to drink in Peter Gavana's pub, which was my local, and 102 Upper Stanhope Street was about 100 yards the other way. So walking past the German church to get to my local pub and knowing that the family had lived 100 yards the other way, I started thinking, well, I wonder if he popped in for a quick half on his way home from church. And I thought, well, I wonder what he did do for those 6 months. And that was the light bulb moment. What did a young 23 years of age would have been at that time. So what did a 23-year-old Adolf Hitler do for 6 months in Liverpool?
Yeah, it's a fascinating question, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we saved a bit of money and we eloped to London.
And so you're playing Bridget.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about her then?
Well, Bridget is a young woman. She is a simple woman that once during her teenage met a charming German guy, and she fell in love with him. And then she found out that this guy was not that reliable as he looked like, and he was a very, very kind of challenging personality. And then, you know, when you love someone, you love the criminal, but although if you know who is the criminal, so she stayed with him and she married him. And then once during their life, and you know, in which she was already trying to deal with him, his brother came to visit, and so at some point she found herself to have to deal with the two very difficult kind of personalities that put together were also like two fires, because the arrival of Adolphe brings up loads of very bad thoughts and bad memories for Alice. So she basically has in this play like the role of balancing and trying to keep the two fires more kind of quiet, and I mean, this is how I see her. So she should be always the one that with the sweet words and with a more soft voice, trying to calm down the twos that otherwise would probably kill them and deal with each other at some point.
That's why it's important to choose your partner wisely, to share the rocky road ahead with.
So it's going to be on at the Unity Theatre, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, that's not the first time it's been on, is it? It's premiered at the Liverpool Actor Studio.
It did in 2012, and people loved it. They queued around the block for it. So after a 3-year hiatus, we're glad to bring it back. So we're at the Unity Theatre from the 7th to the 11th of July.
And what about you, Adolphe? Is there any special someone in your life?
Adolphe in Toxteth is playing here at the Unity Theatre from the 7th to the 11th of July. This is Arts Live Theatre. I'm Stephanie Greer. Thanks for watching.